Hey guys, Steven here, back with another episode of the VANCAST, and today I have two entrepreneurs here. Introduce yourselves and just like what you do, who you are, your background, just like how you came to the point that you are right now and what you're currently working on.
All right, so I guess I'll start. My name is Brian Sanders, and I kind of I've been working for a long time, especially on the web. Kind of a funny story how it all started, like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I was making websites for kids in my neighborhood who had lemonade stands in exchange for free lemonade. And I kind of turned that into a whole business, I suppose, from like 12 to 14. I called it Prodigy Mob. And then I was like, oh, dude, I'm so good at websites. Let's call it a Prodigy. And I was like, dang, this sounds gang. Let's call it Mob. And I've been doing that actually, kind of funny to think about, but I've been doing that ever since then, selling websites to clients. And it's actually been super successful. Colin partnered up with me. And now we're working on so many other projects, like a news app and a couple other like really sharing innovative just technologies, I suppose.
Right. So my name's Colin Peterson, and I'm obviously partners with Brian. I'm the Prodigy. I'm the project manager here at Prodigy Mob, and we run 3, maybe 4 serious businesses together. The foremost of which is Prodigy Mob, which is a social media marketing and website design agency, which focuses on businesses in our area. I'm from Tampa, Florida. Brian's from Clayton, Raleigh, North Carolina. And so we've been working with local businesses, specifically in our areas, to get their web presence better, or to make their web presence better, be it on their website or through social media, and so on. And that's just one of our businesses that we run. We're also working on, as Brian said, a news app called Shorthand, which aggregates and summarizes the news, so which allows people to really read the news in a very quick and concise manner that prioritizes unbiased reporting. Because I mean, how can a robot be biased? So that's one of the other projects we're working on, and there's a slew of other ones we can get into later. But yeah, so I met Brian about. Well, actually, I've known him since I was in 7th grade, actually, when he lived in Tampa.
But like we never talked.
No, not at all.
Don't remember talking to this kid at all in middle school. Like literally,
once or twice.
We played football together, and the only reason I knew him is because he hacked the school Wi-Fi, and I was like, "Yo, let me get your password," and he was like trying to stunt. He was trying to stunt on me, but like. Oh, yeah. His dad knew the password, and he's like, "Yo, bro, I hacked it." I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's right.
It was
sold it to people too.
That was like
$15 each.
Yeah, he sold the password.
That's right.
And literally, we didn't even talk until probably like last year, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Brian was
like
doing some
what
stuff.
made like how did you connect after that? Because like obviously you guys didn't talk. Like yeah, so how did that go?
So
it's funny.
One of the
Go
businesses,
ahead,
one of the businesses we also run is called Tech Tutors, and Tech Tutors is we're still working on it. It's taken forever, but essentially it's going to be an online platform to teach the elderly on a subscription-based monthly service how they can use their computer, communicate with grandkids, so on and so forth. And I'm personally a Mac person, and I was like, I don't know anybody that knows how to use a PC that can record tutorials for me to the quality. And Colin actually ran a YouTube channel back then. So I texted him. I was like, "Yo, bro, you want to partner up with me like in this?" And this was like back in February. And we've just been working since February of last year.
That's right.
I also wanted to. Yeah. Go ahead.
And one of the other reasons I started talking to Brian actually is he was doing some stunting of his own on his Snapchat, I think. I don't remember how exactly it was, but it was just something. I reached out to him. I said, "How are you making all this money?" And he said, "Business, bro." And that's exactly how we started talking. And that's when we got over to the fact when we started talking about the fact that I own a YouTube channel and that I could help him with Tech Tutors. And about a month later is when we started. We came up with the idea for Shorthand and started working on that. And then over the summer, we've been working nonstop on Prodigy Mob to really build up a little bit of a cash flow to fund the other 2 projects.
Yeah, so I was also wondering, because you used to run a YouTube channel, like I think we did a video together.
I did. We did do a video together twice. Yeah, Facts 5.
Why did you choose to like like stop that and just get into this? Was it because at that time you wanted to focus on like the businesses and you just reconnected with him, or was it just because you didn't like the whole channel and just wanted to do something else?
So there's two reasons for that. So first off, with Facts 5, list content is just so dry. It's not interesting, really. It's just not something that I was really interested in at all. And so, and also it was not a moneymaker. Facts 5 was just a little 1,000 subscriber YouTube channel that just kind of sat there and churned out views. Also, I had a guy approach me and say, hey, can I re-upload your video and I'll give you credit, which I'm sure you've probably had before in the past. And I thought, hey, that was a great idea. I might get some publicity out of this. But it turns out he didn't really give me that great of a of recognition on said video. And that video went on to get 2.7 million views. So that was really demoralizing for me because I put a lot of work in that video and I didn't get any of the revenue. So unfortunately, that coupled with other businesses that I wanted to run instead kind of made Facts 5 fade into the background, unfortunately. So
yeah, how do you because you run so many businesses with Brian, how do you pick and choose like what you want to focus on? Because I'm sure you have a lot of ideas. How do you choose which ones you start and which ones you continue with? Is it just the ones that you think are the best, or are all the businesses you run are just the ones that you can think of, or how does that go? Like thought process.
Like, how do we pick and choose what projects to work on at what time? Well, there's two reasons.
I'm sure you have like a lot of ideas and a lot of things running through your mind
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Way too many
ideas. Brian, why don't you take this one?
Okay, literally, him and I will I'll text him like 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, like, yo, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. And he'll have to put me back on track or vice versa. But essentially, we typically go like an alternating, that's the best way to put it, I suppose. We do a business that we know is going to turn a profit. So for example, that would be something like Prodigy Mob or like Tech Tutors. So we'll do that first. And then in between that, like once we have some, I don't know, revenue, like we focus on revenue for not doing anything. So what that means, like just revenue that we're gonna get regardless of how much work we put out via like subscription services. Yeah, that's what it's called. Shoot, passive income. Yeah. So like all our websites, we charge our clients $35 a month after for quote unquote hosting.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And that's our passive income, and that's gonna fund us through our next project. So then we're making so much from that passive income. All right, let's do something that we're not as confident will turn a profit, but could be more successful in the long run. So we typically alternate of guaranteed money and alternating long shots, I suppose, and just kind of alternate in and out of that. And if we need money, we'll do this, or if we need more money for another project, we'll go back to the money makers. But it's really just focusing: do we need money for another project now or not? And it's just,
have you guys like
we put the
go ahead. My bad.
We put those businesses into those two categories and kind of pick when we need. And we have a huge Google Doc of lists of ideas we want to do eventually, of course.
Yeah, I was wondering, just because like you have so much stuff going on, do you have like anybody else working on the stuff, or like do you have a team behind you, or just like friends to help you out, or is it just you guys doing everything, like building the websites, the services, and all that?
Yeah, so everything but Prodigy Mob, I wanted to, and Prodigy Lab, is essentially all us. Prodigy Mob, we have a team of 5 people behind us that we pay, and they're actually really good employees. It's kind of weird because a couple of them have already graduated from college, and we're their income. So it's kind of weird to be in that position. But we definitely, as Colin said, he's the project manager, so he's able to kind of manage them and keep them at bay, and I focus on landing clients and bringing that money in to give to them. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I was just wondering because like a lot of the stuff I do, I'm trying to put out as much content as I can. It's a lot different than what you guys are doing, but sometimes it's hard to do stuff about, by yourself, and sometimes having a team can really help out. But what do you think about, like, some people don't want to hire and outsource just because they don't think the people they're hiring can do as good of a job as they can, or like they're just not comfortable with people working on something when they don't have, the same mindset, the same thinking as yourself. So what do you think about that and outsourcing So like, how do you find the right people to?
It's all about
hire?
the workload. It's all about the workload. So it's all about the workload. So anyway, what that means is, depending on how much work me or Brian and I have to do to finish a project, we break that down beforehand and say, what could what could Noah do? What could Yura do? What could Stephanie do? Those are the other people on the team who are working. What could they do to help this speed this project along? And can we even afford their help on said project? And it also comes on our end. So if we have way too much to do between college and other work that we have, or any other things that we have going on in our lives, we have to think, what can we do to make the workload as easy as possible? Well, not as easy as possible, but as efficient as possible, while still not giving away, or while giving away as little money to outside contractors as possible. That said, we do love our team and we don't try to shortchange them on things. But a lot of the work that we try to do, we try to keep it within those 5 people and not have to outsource it as at all if we can. But sometimes it's necessary. So
and at the same time, at the same time, we also like.
Just go. I keep interrupting. Is my bad.
You're good.
Go ahead.
If the client is like paying a significant amount of money, if it's a bigger client or the client knows a lot more people, typically me and Colin will keep it really close because it's essentially our name that's going out there, and we want to preserve that connection with the client. That is why I don't outsource any client communication. I do it all myself because I'm not going to ruin a relationship because of one of my employees. That's just something I like to do, but it's all about how much I suppose I value the certain client on how much I outsource is combined with that money.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I was just wondering, how old are both of you guys? Because you guys seem like very young, people. Like, I was wondering.
Actually, I just turned 19 yesterday.
So you guys currently in like university, or are you guys not in school at all, or?
I'm a freshman right now at the University of South Florida, which kind of bummed about because I should be going to Florida State University, which is up in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm here in Tampa. What happened was I may or may not have clicked the wrong button on the application and applied for the wrong term for example, the spring term. So I'll be starting at Florida State in January.
Yeah, so, and
I'm a moron.
I'm 17 and I'm still in high school. Last year, thank God. And I'm actually looking at colleges right now. So, yep, high school, and I'll graduate with my associate's degree. Just been taking some college classes on the low, and we'll actually have 2 years done already when I graduate high school.
Yeah, that's great because I'm in grade 11 right now. So it kind of, fit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what Brian's saying is he's way ahead of me.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I see a lot of people like I know people who graduate, high school early and like getting ahead with their lives, and like I wish I could do that, but at the same time I don't want to take on like I'm still unsure if I want to go to university or not, or if that's a choice for me. Like there's still like a lot of thinking. Like if it was just your choice, would you still go to school for like the things you are going for, or are there other like outside pressures that are kind of pressuring you to go to a university college?
Absolutely. So go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Since I'm still in high school, a lot of the stuff that I'm learning is pointless, I suppose, to my career field, and that's a huge problem with modern education. But I'm not going to get into that. But I'm taking like computer classes that are teaching me how to use Microsoft Word. Like that's total bull.
I'm in college. I'm taking one of those right now.
Yeah. So I would finish high school and I would go to university, but I'd probably go for entrepreneurship, essentially because like there's so much leadership skills and other stuff to learn just from essentially you're learning from successful people who've done it before. But I would definitely go to university. I just don't know if the price is really worth it. I'm working through applications right now, so hopefully I'll get at least some scholarship money, right?
Yeah, are your friends, your parents supportive of like your your side hustle, I would say, because you still are students? Are they supportive of that?
Well, it totally depends on who I'm talking to. My dad is absolutely not a fan of it because I work, I'm always on my computer, trying to figure something out, trying to figure out a way to make money or something, 24/7. And so he's not really a big fan of that because it takes away from my schoolwork and it takes away from, just doing things in my everyday life. So while it is a hustle, absolutely, it's difficult to find that balance between your life and your business. And once you find that balance, then yeah, you're golden, which I still haven't found it. So, but Brian pretty much has.
Yeah, my parents support me. I mean, I've been meeting with clients since like 14. And I guess my parents drove me around while I didn't have my license and all that stuff. It was really funny. The first client I ever met with was the manager of the Beef O'Brady's. Yeah, subtle stunt, beef. Right? And it was a manager of Beef O'Brady's. And I came in with my iPad mini that I earned from my first website I ever sold. And I came in with the iPad mini and I had this little PowerPoint on it. And I was swiping through the PowerPoint, like, here's what I can do for your company, blah, 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 blah. And my dad's sitting in the booth over, like, just sipping on, like, a drink or something. Like, it's so funny. But I would say they're generally supportive. And I wouldn't have been able to meet with them or any other clients until I really got my license.
Yeah, my parents are, like, kind of on and off. Like, sometimes they're super supportive, but then, I don't know, my grades are low, and then it kind of switches. But, like, I'm still in 11th grade. I've been doing like working on my stuff for like 2-3 years now, so it's been constant ongoing. So I guess they see that I'm kind of responsible enough to balance things. But like, if I had a choice, I probably wouldn't go to university and just work for the 3-4 years that I would be in school, and I think that would kind of be more beneficial to me. But I think it's at a point where I still have to go to university, but I still have time to decide. Obviously, I have a year. I could take a gap year. But I guess like we can all relate kind of because we're all still students, still like really young, and just the fact that we're doing a podcast is kind of like I don't think many people in my school are doing podcasts, like
absolutely
that's just
not.
like and most people in like our age kind of don't really like, especially high school. A lot of people are just consumed by high school and they just only focus on school. Like, that's great and all, but like their whole life is school. And like
exactly.
For me, like I view school as just like a time, like a just time in a day on my calendar, like just this space filled up in my calendar. That's it. And I just like, how do you guys like go about balancing school and that sort of stuff? Because I still have like problems with that. I either go with like very low sleep or it's just like I don't finish work and I just like slack off sometimes just because I have to put that effort and time towards something else. How do you guys balance it?
So I think the way I balance things is as soon as I get work to do, I'm gonna do it. I mean, a huge problem is I used to find myself, I suppose. I still do sometimes, like procrastinating. Or I'll just be sitting around with some free time. The best way to balance school and work is do stuff right when you get it. Because then you are, like, you don't forget about it, like you've already started. And I find that when you start things, that it just stays in your mind a little bit better. So anybody that struggles with school and balancing time, my only advice would be probably just whatever you have to do, jump on it, because it's still going to be due. You're still going to have to do it. You may as well do it while you have time, and just don't put
the nail
off.
Yeah, Brian just hit the nail right on the head, because I have problems with this all the time. I get a project and I think, oh, I have 4 or 5 days to do it, so I'm just going to go play Battlefield or go on Google Maps or something like that. That's another thing that I do in my free time that I really need to stop. Yeah, I know. But yeah, that's just something that I do all the time. But Brian hit the nail right on the head. What you need to do is take your time, and as soon as you get a project, jump on it. Waste absolutely no time. And once you're done, you have free time to do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess like in like right now I'm just starting to learn that, and I've just been doing work as soon as I can, but it still can be very overwhelming at times, especially when you're like, for me as a content creator, I should be posting at certain times of the day, certain, you know, days of the week. And when I, like, even if I do work, the moment I get it, it might not be at the ideal time, you know, like I might have to post on Monday, but I have like a bunch of work to do on Monday. So that's definitely an issue. Like I've been wondering this for a while. Did you guys always have interest for this stuff, or was it just kind of you got into something and then it, like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Like,
this is where it gets interesting. So I've always been kind of business minded. Always been kind of focused, I suppose. It's something that I think creating things in entrepreneurship isn't something that necessarily can be taught. Yes, you can try and do it, but you can definitely tell people who are born to do it. It sounds kind of cheesy, but I think, Steven, you've been doing this for how long? Who like 2 or 3 years, you were saying. I've been doing business and this kind of stuff for as long as I can remember. 12 years old, I flew to Oregon because I got invited to speak at a venture capital conference about a project I was working on then. 12 years old. It's just something you're born with, I think. Definitely you can cultivate it and you can grow it, but it's easier for people who are born with it. What about you, Colin?
What? Yes. What was my first hustle? It goes way back. My first hustle was a graphic design studio for YouTubers to make YouTube banners for people. And
was that before or after your Roblox career?
Oh, of course, yes, before that. But I don't think we're gonna go into that at all. So anyway,
for the audience and Steven, Cullen used to sell Roblox graphics. What was the currency called?
Robux. I think I was 13, 14 years old when I did this.
And what was your name on Roblox?
I don't think we're gonna talk about that. Anyway,
Architects or something.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So anyway, my first real business was called Art Studios, which was a graphic design studio. Basically, what I did was I made YouTube banners for people, and I sold them for about $15 each. And that business, I mean, it went kind of well. I was able to pay for the hosting, and I bought myself an iPad, but I think that was the only thing I was able to do with that, because that business kind of flopped because I had school and I simply couldn't keep it up.
Yeah, I remember.
YouTubers are broke.
Yeah, I remember I contacted you back then. I was like, I think you made intros or something, and I wanted an intro.
That's right. That is absolutely right.
Yeah, I contacted you on Skype, and I remembered that. And then you reached out after.
Yep.
About Fax 5 and all that sort of stuff. So that's really cool that I've actually known you for like since I started my channel, like around that time, like 2015.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. Yep, 2015. Yeah. That was the year.
Yeah, like I haven't been doing it like compared to other people. I haven't been doing, you know, just creating videos for a long time. Like I think before I started making videos and all that sort of stuff, I was still interested in like creative stuff and like just like I was really focused and I was different. But I just started, you know, 2 years ago, and I think I just got like really into it. Like I've just been focused every single day since then, and I've just been, you know, working on my craft like every day since then. It wasn't just like I've been doing this since I was like a kid. It's just like the moment I got into it, I liked it, and you know, it was something that I like to do, so I just got into it.
And that's the whole cultivating thing. You cultivated your passion to where you are. Like it definitely an effort was put in, and you can tell like someone doesn't wake up like you and just put out content like you do now. It's definitely something that you put effort in and cultivated. So that's a perfect example.
Yeah. I have a question that I usually ask the guests who are on here, and it's what are your like motivations outside of like what you do? Like how do you get inspired by things? Because usually the things I'm inspired by usually aren't connected to what I'm doing. It's like I'm really inspired by music, but I don't do music, right? I don't produce music or anything like that. You know, I watch a lot of movies that inspire me, you know, TV shows that, you know, kind of trigger something in my head. Like besides business and entrepreneurship and that sort of stuff, what are you interested in?
So, yeah, so aside from the motivation of, creating a brand for yourself and, really building a company up, one of the, this is going to sound really cheesy, but the main motivation for most people in entrepreneurship is money, because that's what the whole idea of being an entrepreneur.
Not motivation,
and
but like,
but not motivation, but like, yeah, inspiration.
Hey,
exactly.
Money inspires me, right? Money inspires me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, for example, Brian and I, one of our biggest goals is to each get cars. I am a huge fan of American Muscle, and so I'm saving currently for a 2011 a newer model Ford Mustang GT. And Brian, what did you want? A Mercedes CLA?
A Mercedes-Benz CLA, murdered out, baby. Only the best.
Oh yeah. So that's currently what we're working towards. I'm actually really, really close, because first off, the car that I want is a lot cheaper, and but yeah, I'm literally weeks away from getting one of those, which I'm really excited about. Brian wants to get his before his birthday in March, which is coming up quickly. And honestly, at the pace that we're going, he's probably going to get it before that.
And it's so crazy to think about. It's just we've idolized these cars for who knows how long, and things are finally coming into place. We've been working for free, building brands, building a portfolio, and now people are really starting to pay us big money, and it's really paying off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
you like go. Like I've been like usually like I don't have that like a huge amount of money, right? And usually I invest a lot of the money that I have back into my stuff. So
yeah, don't worry, neither do
we. Yeah, so like I don't know, like I'm not even close to affording like any sort of like big expensive thing, but my sort of like I don't have an end goal. I don't have like some thing that will kind of show me success. Like I'm sure like having a car is great and stuff like that, and that kind of inspires you, obviously, like you're working toward one thing, but like honestly I don't have anything I'm working toward. I feel like it's just I've been doing it for like a long time now, that it just feels like something I have to do, and I really like doing what I do because of the people I meet, and it's just really cool. Like I feel like relationships in like business and all that sort of stuff is like very important, and I've been meeting like new people every single week. I've been going downtown and just like doing video shoots, photo shoots with like amazing creators, amazing influencers and stuff like that. And I'm sure you guys have met like or like talked to like huge people or like interesting people, and that's just a great great thing, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
We found out a couple, I think yesterday, that someone we worked with in the past is Little Pump's second cousin. So that's pretty cool. That's probably the coolest thing.
I know.
Like,
so yeah, we're literally one connection away from Lil Pump.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm so close.
That was pretty interesting.
I feel like I'm so close to like meeting somebody who's gonna put me in position like in a big like good opportunity, because I've been connecting with like big creators in the city, like people with millions of subscribers. I'm working on some videos for somebody who has like 1.3 million subscribers, and I've been working with like other people, right?
Especially in Toronto too. That's like one of the biggest
Toronto
hubs for creators in Canada, right?
Yeah, like Toronto, New York, Cali, like the cities like are really like, there's a huge community there, and there's like the YouTube creator space here as well. Like it just opened like last year, 2 years ago, and a lot of people coming there now, right? And so it's just amazing. Like, and now like Post Malone follows me on Twitter now.
What
That's
the heck?
crazy.
Oh,
like I went.
Yeah.
I took pictures. I took pictures of him, posted it, and he saw it, liked it, followed me, and he's not replying to my DM. That's my biggest hope, that he's gonna check my DM. But my hope is that I'll be touring with an artist and like going around the world, and like even like North America is like great. Like I just want to have an experience where I travel and just do some like photo video work for somebody. I think that's my end goal. Like I'm trying to do that before high school ends for me. I think
Justin
like just like I've talked to him a lot.
For real?
Like he was supposed
one of my friends.
Yeah.
one of my friends knows him, and he actually did the same kind of thing. And he met this guy. He met Khalid, and has taken pictures of Khalid, and he's taken pictures of a bunch of other guys just from something like that. And he did it in high school, so that's definitely something that's attainable. And I think he'll get there.
Yeah, I think Khalid came after. Like, I think he met Khalid in college when he was in college, because I remember watching his vlogs and that sort of stuff. I think he went on tour with Mike Stud, I think, or somebody else. Mike Stud. It's Mike Stud, right? And doing that in high school is crazy when everybody else is doing like just doing their homework.
Playing NBA 2K all the time, or like
exactly.
That's crazy. Like I just think about it and like comparing not really comparing myself to other people, but just like looking at what I've been able to accomplish, while also having school. That's just like, even you guys built businesses, and like you're still in Brian's still in like grade 12, right? And it seems like you've accomplished a lot, and like that's just crazy. Like I always think about that.
That's our passion, though. Like, other people, they have, their passion might be cars. Their passion, like Brian said, might just be playing 2K. But our passion is making money, and that's what we do all the time.
Yeah. If you want to hear something funny, by the way, that relates to this, Cullen recently met with these investors for our news app, actually on a private jet.
Brian, can I tell this story?
Yeah, but I gotta tell about the tweet.
Oh yeah. Tell him this. That's a great story.
Okay, so he's on a private jet with these investors, and they invited him on his jet to go to a Florida State football game. He landed the investment. He came back from the game, and a girl that he's trying to talk to still didn't text him back, and he texted me, and I'm totally memed the crap out of him. I put it on Twitter when he meets with investors, lands investment, but she still doesn't text back. It's just so funny that the opportunities that we're presented with as young creators that other people don't even know.
They don't even understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like on the surface, it seems like it's easy. Like on the surface, like it seems like it's very basic, like what we do, and you can learn it quickly. But even just the smallest things and the littlest things are like, they take a long time to understand, a lot of time to like perfect. Like just Post Malone following me is crazy. Like that's why I feel like I'm really close to popping off. I'm really close. I've just met with creators. I contact all of them. Just like I've contacted all the Toronto creators. I worked basically for half of them, like half of the creators in Toronto. So I really think I'm super close. But it's like, it's hard knowing that you're so close, but you don't know when you're going to pop off. Like I guess patience is really important in that.
We're all one connection away from hitting it big, and we have no idea where it's going to come from.
Yeah, that's why I'm attending Barfer Festival in Toronto this weekend.
Oh yeah,
I'm going tomorrow actually, and a bunch of creators from New York flew out. Like Casey Neistat, he's coming. He had a
that is crazy.
Yeah, they're doing a bunch of screenings and like showing like new videos and like meet and greets and stuff. So basically, what I did was I contacted every single person who is like on the guest list or like who's featured on the website, and I contacted them and I was like, if you're down, while you're in Toronto, if you want to do a photo shoot or video shoot or anything like that, I'm happy to help. And you're just doing small things like that is really important. Just reaching out, and sometimes doing free work can help you in the long run.
Yeah, that takes a lot to put yourself out there.
Yeah,
and it's so nerve wracking. But like the people and the contacts you'll get, just like merely me cold calling potential website clients or me emailing them when I was just getting started. Now, thank God they come to me, because cold calling takes a lot.
It's insanely hard, especially in this day and age when everybody is extremely skeptical of what you're doing. And especially with our age, it's kind of a disadvantage. It's both. It's both a blessing and a curse. In some ways, some people think, wow, this he's only 18 or 19 and he's running his own business. Maybe I should trust him with my money. Or some people think, oh, this kid's just 18 or 19. Why the hell would I trust him with my money? Because, what could he possibly know that's better than a professional? And so, so it's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah, so like me, some days I'll just go 2 hours straight just emailing, potential clients and stuff like that, and just like providing value up front. Like I usually do that. I like the first couple sentences, like what I can provide for them, so that they can provide something for me, because they get a lot of emails, right? People get a lot of emails all the time, and you can't just expect them to, you know, say yes to everything, right? So just providing something upfront is always like helpful. So usually, the first shoot I do for a big influencer is gonna be free, and then after that, it's paid. The YouTuber I was talking about who is asking me to like record their video, like help them with video work. I actually did a photo shoot for free for her. She posted a couple on Instagram. She liked it. She said, let's work on another another thing later this month. So like stuff That's like huge, that, bro. Just doing that. Yeah, and also like age, like going back to that, age, like sometimes it limits me just because a lot of the events that I could be going to are 19 plus, or they just like I got somebody contacted me and wanted to interview me for this position, for me to do freelance work, right? And they interviewed me, and then they asked me how old I was, and then like they loved my work and all that sort of stuff. They asked what my age is, and then like and then they just rejected like everything. Like they didn't care after that. Like they just heard my age and then they just dismissed me. Like that's kind of
wow.
That's frustrating. But on the opposite side, 2 weeks ago, I went into a restaurant to meet with a client. I was doing a site, and he's like, "Just come sit down, and I'll come find you." It was like at 2 o'clock, so it was pretty down. I was the only guy in the restaurant, and the owner came up to me and said, "Are you Brian?" I was like, I stood up, shook his hand, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Oh, I was expecting like a 30-year-old guy. This is kind of weird, but awesome at the same time." And the smile that he got from like just me telling him that was what makes it all worth it, because then you can prove like my generation isn't entirely degenerate, right? Right? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of the people I do photo shoots for, they usually think I'm in like university, even though I don't look that old. I think just the work speaks for itself, and just the maturity level. It kind of speaks like if you just look at other people our ages, there's a big difference, like the way you move, the way you just think and talk, and just what you're doing every day just really shows actually like just look at it, like just think about it. It's really crazy. And
it is.
And like I think going back to cold calling, emailing, stuff like that, reaching out, I really think that you don't have to be the best at what you're doing, but if you work hard enough to put yourself in a position where you're in reach with more opportunities, then you're gonna be like the best photographer isn't the best photographer. They're the ones who've been able to have like the right people, the right connections, right, to put them in
the best photographer is the best networker.
Yeah, I think that's for anything, like whatever you do.
It's true.
Yeah. Like I've seen like Gunnar Stahl, one of the most popular photographers. He does stuff for like every single rapper you can name, right? He isn't the best photographer. He just was in the Atlanta rap scene, and he connected with everybody. Metro Boomin, Drake, like every big person. And if you just put yourself out there, then yeah. I'm sure you guys do that all the time.
Yeah, like you were saying, the best way to do it is free work. You got to give yourself a platform to prove yourself, although it may be hurting your pocket.
My first site, I can't even think. I did a bunch of free websites, but it was only for people who knew a lot of people. So you have to be careful. You're not just gonna I'll do a free photo shoot for you. You have 100 followers on Instagram, and we hit you up. No, my first free website was for the Chamber of Commerce, where I used to live in Florida. And I did it for them because the Chamber of Commerce obviously knows every single business in that city. And I think that was the best business move I've ever made, because they plugged me to everybody because they loved what I did. And it's all about making that platform for yourself.
And now that I'm in Tampa, I can pick up on those contacts. And whenever we need somebody to work in Tampa, then I can help with that. So that's really helpful.
And sometimes you just don't know who people are. Like honestly, like I volunteered for this thing, just for fun, right? Just because it was is in the city, and I knew a couple of people volunteering, so I thought I'd do it. And the person like running the whole team who's volunteering actually knew some guy who owned a creative agency in Toronto, so he connected me with him, and I'm gonna go to Toronto tomorrow, and I'm gonna go downtown and just go check out the studio and stuff like that. He even offered me a job position right away, just after seeing my work.
Oh wow, that's
like
great.
Just like minutes after he connected, like the guy who runs the volunteering connected me with his friend. Just minutes after he saw my work, he's like, yo, we need somebody to do video for like our stuff. Like
Wow.
I turned down the offer. I turned down the offer because I'm a student and it would require me to work, full-time hours. And I wouldn't want a job because I like freelance work a lot more and I want to, work on my own schedule. But just think about that. Like I got a job offer by talking to a person. Like I didn't have to apply. I didn't have to get a. That's crazy. And I never like this guy, the guy who runs the volunteering. I also found out he went to my school, right? First of all, like I didn't even know that he went to my school. He knew my brothers, which I didn't know. And like you don't know anybody. You don't know anything about anyone until you really, really talk to them. Just like if you walk into a room, maybe you're in a studio, right? You walk, like if you're an artist and you walk into a studio, like shake everybody's hand, introduce yourself to everybody, start conversation. Like you don't have to be fake. Just be like a really nice, like be a nice person, like be like a normal person, right? And you'll never know what happens. Really never know what happens. Like, yeah.
And it's always beneficial to put yourself out there. There's
Absolutely.
there's no guarantee.
There's no reason to hide. There's no reason to hide, like, and not say anything.
Like
Hiding is losing money.
Yeah, and at the same time, if you're not proud and want to like show off the work you do, why are you doing it?
Exactly.
Like that's a question I ask myself all the time. Like if I wouldn't show this to $1 million client as a portfolio piece,
why am I doing it?
Yeah.
I actually have a great example of this. One of my really good friends, actually the person who I'm going to be rooming with at Florida State next year, he has a YouTube channel with 750,000 subscribers. And I don't think anybody outside of me and his immediate family actually knows that he runs this channel, because it keeps it so close to him, because his audience is basically 12-year-olds. He makes Pokemon Go videos, so he has to keep his audience really close to his his channel kind of close to him, because he wouldn't want to show that off to somebody, because
it's crazy how much you don't know about people. Like I'm like just me in a room. Like I don't think people know like that. Like I think I'm gonna be like really big by the time that like I'm 20, 25. Like when I'm older, right? I really believe that, and I'm sure like even my closest friends know that. A lot of the people I surround myself with know that, right? But everybody else, you really don't know. Like there can be a guy in the class you don't even know, like.
Totally, and they all could be doing something different.
Exactly.
It was super crazy. Me and Cullen put together a project in 48 hours. We called it a 48-hour startup. Did it just for the video, did it just for the fun. It's actually turned a serious profit, but we spent 2 days, literally 2 days doing something. And we released it and it blew up online. It was shared on Facebook, shared on Twitter, shared on YouTube, etc. And it was a pretty basic project. And it got to the
it was just an Amazon affiliate website. So
essentially. And it was crazy because me and this girl I know were volunteering at a homeless shelter, and this guy that was volunteering there was like, "Hey, you're the guy that did the 48-hour startup challenge, right?" And I was like, "Whoa, what the heck?" I had no idea my audience had that.
Yeah, the world's it's a really small world, bro. It's like I've been making connections like like I've been talking to people who my bad.
First time my work has ever been like acknowledged outside of like immediate clients, and that blew me away, because why would I do anything that I wouldn't want to show to like some random guy on the street? And it's all about that kind of connection. He could be a millionaire and need a website, and I wouldn't even know it.
And that's exactly what happened to me when I went on that private jet. And can I? Do you guys mind if I tell this story real quick? It's really good. So anyway, basically what happened was a good friend of my dad. He owned some insurance company or something, and it went public, and the stock blew up. And suddenly, this guy, who's not really even like the smartest guy, is now worth $400 million. And what does he do? He goes out and buys a private jet. And immediately reaches out to all of his friends from college to say, "Hey, do you want to go on a private jet to the first Florida State game of the year?" And obviously, my dad, who's a big college booster, and he's got season tickets, and we go to all the games. He actually worked for the football program for a long time, but anyway, he he obviously agreed, and he asked if he could take take his son along. Obviously, that's me, and I obviously said yes, because how could I pass up an opportunity like that? And I ran home and I wrote a 9-page business plan for this app that Brian and I have been working on called Shorthand. Which, what it is I think I explained it earlier in the video. It's an app that aggregates and summarizes news articles. And so what it does, and so what I did basically was I went on the plane and they asked me, so what do you do, Colin? What do you do in your free time? I said, well, I've been working on this app. And they were really interested in it. And I said, actually, I have the business plans with me right now. Do you want to see them? And so I gave these four guys who were just, random college friends of my dad, who happened to be, one was worth $400 million. Another one is a big restaurateur here in Tampa. And then the other two are really big in, are two wholesalers in the area that sell tons of groceries to grocery stores. I mean, I had no idea. And so the first thing that I did was I gave them all business plans of this app, and one of them actually invested a lot of money in us. So that's one of the biggest things driving Shorthand right now. And we're hoping that we have a finished product by January 1 and we're able to put it out. And then this other guy who was on the plane, the restaurateur, he owns these 2 restaurants in South Tampa. He said, and I told him that the other thing that we do is I run Prodigy Mob, which is a social media marketing and website design agency. And he said, hey, I need a website for one of my restaurants. I'll pay you $1,000 to do it. And so I landed that guy on the plane as well. And then we got to talking. And one of the other products that Brian and I have put out is this thing called CryptoCalc, which is a cryptocurrency profit visualizer. So Brian and I are kind of big into trading cryptocurrency, which is like Bitcoin and things like that. And so this guy, all of a sudden, he's like, oh my God, I love doing that stuff. And it's made me a whole lot of money. And I said, and after a little bit of talking about that, I said, hey, do you accept Bitcoin at your restaurants? And he said, no, I didn't even know you could. And so I said, well, yeah, it's a currency. That's kind of the whole point, accepting the currency for goods and services. And so he and I got to talking. He said, I'll pay you $1,000 to set up this thing called BitPay at each of my restaurants, which he has 2 right in downtown Hyde Park, which is a big restaurant scene in Tampa. And so, yeah, I landed this guy for $3,000 just because of an off chance that I met him on a private jet. And so,
and then this kid couldn't leave without all the money. So he casually printed out an extra business plan and left it on the airplane on purpose.
That's
right.
Super smart, man. Yo, like,
and that's what,
you never know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, you never know what you're missing out on if you don't like do something. Like, a lot of people's before even do anything, they think that it may be a waste of their time and they may not get anything out of it, but just doing something will always like show some sort of impact. Like me, like, I was almost not going to go to the Post Malone concert where I took the pictures that ended up getting him to follow me. I had to fill in a media pass, like a press form, and I didn't have anybody who I was working for. You need somebody, you need like a magazine, a radio station, a website to work for. And I literally put not available in the form, and somehow they still accepted me, and I got a press pass. And
it's awesome.
Like that day I was almost not gonna go, but I ended up going, and just like taking that chance to go. Like, also, this is a crazy story. I contacted Joe Moore, which is 2 Chainz director, photographer, videographer, and basically 2 Chainz was in town, like in Toronto that same day, right? He brought me out to shoot. I go on Instagram like a couple hours later, see Drake was on stage. Like, Drake was like, he brought out Drake. 2 Chainz brought out Drake, and then I missed that off chance. So I should have stayed, and now, like, from now on, I'm just gonna keep, just like every opportunity I get, I'm just gonna like just maximize it, right? I could have met Drake. I could have done something with that. But like, even just reaching out to like Joe Moore, like somebody that I've looked up to for like video work and stuff like that, and him replying is extremely rare. Like, and it's just, I'm like kind of lucky because of that. But what's crazy about this is the guy Joe Moore is living with, the director, he's living with somebody who is friends with somebody I collaborated with, right? And so there's this whole circle of them who are like close friends, and I'm connected with all of them. Like we're all like cool and stuff like that.
Amazing.
And we collaborated on stuff, and that's just crazy. Like literally, like the world's so small. Like I never thought. Now I have the director's number. Whenever he's coming in town, he's gonna call me. Like he told me like we're still connected and all that sort of stuff. And that's just crazy. That was just September, like the beginning of September. So that's crazy.
And that helped because of your personal.
That is amazing.
Growth.
Exactly.
You presented yourself in a professional way online. Just because, like, literally, Steven, your Instagram is your portfolio. And that's really convenient because you're a photographer, but people need to focus. If they're proud of their craft, they need to make sure that it's public online.
Yeah, to be honest, my Instagram, like, I actually don't like my Instagram feed. Like, it's kind of like,
what?
It's not even, because the photos that I take are a lot better than because a lot of the photos of me are taken by people who don't know how to take pictures, so everything has to be saved like in post, right? But like the photos I take, I have two accounts. I have Van Films, which is my photography account, which looks a lot better. And that's the reason why, like, I don't really like, that's why I'm trying to get a behind the scenes guy or somebody helping me out during shoots so that I can get content for my other platforms, like maybe behind the scenes footage, because that would be very helpful. And I have a lot of content to show for, and it kind of also it's great for branding and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's dope. Like, just that's crazy. Like, I'm trying to reach out to every single director I know, or like I've seen. I literally searched up on Toronto blogs and stuff, like the top, creators you must know, or the top Canadian YouTubers you have to know, like just searching up on Google and that sort of stuff, and finding those creators, reaching out to them. I go to Instagram, I go on the places tab, and then I go to my city, and then I check, everybody, like all their posts, and whoever's, has a big following, I'll reach out to them, and then, offer my help. And what's crazy also, there's another thing. So I reached out to the singer on Instagram. I found her like at using the same thing I just did, right? I just said, right? And I contacted her management, and her manager wants me to do a photo shoot with her, and then she gave me some free consulting and stuff like that. She usually charges for that. And then she's like, yo, if you need any help, like she said she's at a Kendrick Lamar concert in LA, and like she's like, in a couple of years when you're a little bit older, like we can fly you out and stuff like that. And she's like, we can connect you with anybody. Just really ask if you need anything. And so just reaching out to that person, like I didn't know that singer, I didn't know that manager at all, but they're just like, that manager really liked my work and literally told me like, don't ever undermine yourself because of your age. Don't underprice your work and stuff like that. Just like giving me real advice. And that's just great. Just like I DM'd one person, and now I'm open to so much more opportunities, like usually I email, but like DMing might be, sometimes easier way to reach, because sometimes it has to go through their manager and stuff like that, and I can get more direct answer, but that's just crazy.
Yeah. And like you were saying,
that's why I'm so close. I'm so close. Yeah, manager. Yeah.
That's like the way to do it. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So like and then also, do you know For Y'all Entertainment at all? Like their videos?
No, who's that?
Basically, it's crazy because they're from Brampton, which is right next to Toronto, and there's something similar with them, right? There's this sort of culture in Toronto, right? And they're like really into it. And Drake reached out to them, right? And used one of their skits in his album. So at the end of one of his songs, it's them doing a skit, right? That's awesome. Drake sampled their video. Like that's crazy, and they're from like around where I am, right? Yeah. And Drake, even more crazy, Drake was in their video. They made a skit with him. After that, like way. That's how. Search up T. Goonscrap DVD Part 2, and then you'll see like. They're in it. That's like, and it became like, if you're in Toronto, everybody knows about it. Like everybody in Toronto knows about it. Everybody in Brampton, everybody in the greater Toronto area knows about it. And that's crazy. Like they were just YouTube. They're just YouTube people. Like that was like awesome. When I knew that. That's when I like realized like, yo, it's like possible to, it's just crazy because I remember them when they were much, smaller, and I also just reached out to them as well. I said, like, if you need any video photo work, I'll be happy to do it. And they just emailed me back like 2 days ago, and they said they're working on a new project and they might need some people, so they're gonna email me back in a couple weeks. So I might be working for them on something as well. So that's just crazy as well. Like,
that's what's most inspiring about this, is because like no matter what you do, you don't know where it's gonna take you. And the only thing you can be sure of is it's going to take you up, whether it's a portfolio piece or it's something just to brag about. It's going to take you up, and just connections connections happen. You can't plan it; they just happen. Just like that, those guys got on Drake's album. Like that's not gonna. You can't plan that.
Yeah.
But they went up, and they just happen to go really far up.
It's all about taking that golden opportunity when you find it and using it to the absolute best of your abilities. Like I could have just sat back on that jet and taken a bunch of pictures, and just use it as a subtle flex. But what did I do? I went home and I printed out a business plan and I gave it to every single person on the plane.
Yeah, that's crazy. And also I did a free shoot with this boxing gym, right? And I knew that a lot of people at that boxing gym knew people that had some kind of influence, right? And also I was really like, one of my friends goes there, right? To that boxing gym. And so basically I did a free video shoot. It's on my Instagram, on my YouTube, not on my YouTube yet, but I knew that I could use this content even if I didn't get paid for it. It'd be good, right? I can make a tutorial on how I edited it. I can also put it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and there's gonna increase the exposure. Like people are gonna share it, right? But also I knew that I could get potential like future clients off of this as well. So what happened the day after I posted this on Facebook? A person in the gym who was in the video, his uncle saw the video, and now I'm working on a video and some photography work for this tech company that guy owns the tech company, crazy. Right? And he reached out to me. Like that's literally the craziest thing. Like technology and sports are like really different, right? And this guy saw my video work in a boxing gym, and he brought it out and he said, "Yo, let's work on a tech product. Like let's do some." Because they needed like branding and that sort of stuff. So they reached out to me, and that's just crazy. Like you would never think that, but that if you put yourself out there, that something's going to happen. Like it might not be the biggest thing. It could be the smallest thing, but something's going to happen. Like you're going to go upward. You're going to keep, excel. You're going to keep growing. But if you literally just don't do anything and you just stay in that spot and you don't maximize the opportunity that you can get, then then nothing's gonna happen. Like you said, you could have just took pictures, right? But you did something, so that's crazy. Yeah,
opportunities everywhere. And it's something that's really, I think, undervalued is the statement that it's not what you know, it's who you know. Because everything that we've talked about for like the last hour is basically about connections that we found because of who we know. And I don't even think we have no education in what we're doing. I didn't go to school for computer science. You didn't go to school for photography. Cullen
I am going to school for computer science, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. Well, you are. But still, we are entirely self-taught, and viewed from the professional standpoint, we know nothing. And it's that's very true. It's entirely and putting ourselves out there. That's the key to like everything.
Yeah, it's like I hear a lot of people like
exposure.
I remember when everybody was talking about how if you're gonna become like a director, you'd have to do an internship at like MTV right after university, graduating your degree, do an internship, and then rise up the ranks, right? But now you can be a filmmaker, upload content on YouTube, upload content everywhere, do brand deals, become an influencer, do affiliate marketing and that sort of stuff, and make more than a director at MTV, like intern at MTV, right? There's totally different things. Like I think obviously the internet kind of opened that kind of way for us, but it like you don't need a post-secondary education for this now, right? You can see like people excelling without any education, like people who like I guess some people were just used to the way it used to be and aren't adapting. I think that if you don't adapt, you're just gonna get left behind, right? Because
that's right.
Everything's changing constantly.
Your brand is your resume. It's 2017. Your brand is
like,
your resume.
Yeah, your image is like you should be treating yourself as like a brand, right? Like if you're doing a service, if you're selling something, like you should be treating like your image is so important. Your Instagram, the smallest things. Like if you're a photographer, right? Like post your stuff on Twitter, right? Don't be posting like memes and stuff, right? Like that. You have to portray yourself a certain way. So yeah,
and
like a lot of people ask me like, go ahead.
Some people like think like, I don't know why I'm not getting any exposure. I don't know why I'm not getting any clients. And then like you go on their Instagram and it's like a picture of them like drinking last night at some party. Like get it together. Like there's a reason people do their research. There's a reason you're not getting clients. It's because you're not putting yourself out there. It's all about how people see you. And it's frustrating to me when people don't realize that.
Yeah,
and really most don't understand that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
In our day and age, there are very few people who really understand how to use social media to their advantage and not to their, not just for fun. And that's really what it's all about. You have to portray yourself as your own brand. Like Steven, you're a photographer. Your brand is your resume. My brand is my resume. Yeah. Brian's brand is his resume. And that's how people view you. If they view you as someone who, just goes out and parties all the time, that is a shot at your work ethic. They're not sure, really how much you know or how much you really even care. And so that's why it's so important to make yourself into your own brand and make your brand something that people would want to work with.
And not get distracted by little things.
Exactly.
Especially while you're in your youth. It's 18 years of your life. Everything after high school doesn't matter. Not in general, but because people are going crazy. Like, oh, I just got this 2012 Mazda. You get this bright red Mazda and you flex on everybody. No, that doesn't matter. In 10 years, a Mazda is going to be a crappy car because you actually have a job. So don't get distracted in high school. It doesn't matter. So just, really focus. It's all about the future. Don't get so narrow-minded.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna end it off there because I think we're gonna keep repeating ourselves because we've been talking about like very similar things for the past hour about connections, branding, and that sort of stuff. So if you want to plug anything, if you guys want to say anything to the audience that you are reaching now on YouTube, SoundCloud, stuff like that, go ahead.
Okay, let me go first, Colin. Okay, I guess I'll go first. So if any of you guys are curious about what me and Colin are doing, please be sure to keep up with us online. I'm most active on Twitter at I am Brian Sanders. Steven will have it in the description. And we're staying busy. If you want to follow our brand, it's at Prodigy Mob. That's where we sell everything. And I promote every other project on my personal. So just go ahead and follow me on there and you'll stay in touch.
And I do the same as Brian. I work, obviously we work hand in hand all the time. My personal Twitter is Colin R. Peterson, and my Instagram is just Colin Peterson, which you can go find. Will probably be linked in the description, I would assume. But yeah, so those are my personal brands. Obviously, at Prodigy Mob is our company, and at Prodigy Lab is our studio. And those would be two great accounts to follow because we're constantly pushing out new work, and it would be great for you to keep up with us. And we're always looking for new talent to work with. So if you think you have what it takes, be sure to email me or Brian, and we'll be glad to get in touch with you. It's just our names at prodigymob.com. So Cullen at Prodigy Mob or Brian at Prodigy Mob.
Yeah, so thank you for coming on and talking. I actually was really unprepared on this one. I didn't have any set questions, but the conversation carried on, so that's really good. Thank you, and it was really relatable, and I think it could help a lot of the audience because it's a younger audience. So yeah, thank you, and see you in the next one.
Absolutely, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, we got to do this again. We're the same people.
Okay, we'll catch you later.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for the opportunity, bro.
Catch you later. Update me with all the stuff you got going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
As we start to push out content and build our personal brands, I'm sure we'll look to work together again. So keep an eye out, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'll call you if I'm ever in Toronto.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
See ya.